Good evening and welcome to Credit Talk. I'm your host, Todd Stern, and I will be here for the next half hour. We have a really special show tonight. And by the way, this is a live call-in show, and our number is on the bottom at 312-738-1060. Tonight we're going to be talking about holiday spending, how to start a budget, what to do, what to look for. So if you have any questions regarding budgeting, credit cards, give us a call now at 312-738-1060 because the lines do fill up fast. Okay, so just want to let everybody else know we have 3 shows left in this season. So it's been an awesome quarter. We really had a lot of good calls. And again, for the people that did not call us or could not get on the air, please call us at the number directly behind me at the Help Center at 773-862-4000, and we will answer all your questions. Or even call now, leave a voicemail. Okay, so let's get to business here. Let's talk about the holidays and spending, because over the years I have talked to several people who just get out of control. The spending, I've got to have this, I got to get this. And I get it, I actually like giving more than receiving holiday gifts. And it's a lot of fun bringing joy to people, but you don't want to put yourself in a bad position as far as your debt, credit cards, not paying it, and messing up your credit report. I've seen it happen so many times. So let's not fall into that trap. So I've got a little presentation here. Let's kind of go over it, and we're not on. Let's see. Interesting. There we go. Okay, now. So, let's talk about holiday spending. How to budget your holiday gift spending. Well, that's an excellent question. And we get people asking us all the time, how should I do it? Guess what? I'm going to give you the answers right now. Let's go back to our presentation. What to do. So, what I want you to do is, first of all, list everybody you want to shop for. Your mother, your father, your friends, your family, whoever it might be. Start out with a list, because shooting from the hip, it's just unorganized and it's not going to be efficient, and that's where the spending gets out of control. Divide your gift budget among the people on your gift list. Simple terms. You have $500 and you have 5 people, depending on who you like a little bit more, but we're going to say we like everybody the same. So we're going to spend $100 on each person. We're not going to go over that budget, because if you spend $120, then the next guy you're going to have to spend $80. I don't want to see you spending more than you've got allocated to that person. Brainstorm about gift ideas. Try to find out, secretly what your friends or your family might be wanting for Christmas, or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever it might be. Find out what they want and shop. Do your homework ahead of time. The internet, shop online ahead of time. See what prices are. It's such a great tool versus running from store to store, and possibly you might even get a better deal online. So definitely do your homework. Track your spending throughout the season. And I'm going to show you, I've made a little form that you can use. And tweak your budget to cover any instances of overspending. Again, you found out that, whatever, you're buying a Game Boy or Xbox, whatever it might be. I don't know what they cost, but say it's $100. But now you got to buy the cartridge. That's $120 more. Well, you only budgeted $100. So make the adjustments on the 4 other people. Maybe take, $5 off each of those. But the whole goal of this thing is to keep your budget, at that $500 level or whatever it might be, and don't overspend. Because when you start overspending, that's where the problems have. Again, if any of you just turned in onto the show, this is Credit Talk. My name is Todd Stern. It's a live call-in show, 312-738-1060. Tonight we're talking about holiday spending, the do's and the don'ts. So we talked about that spending worksheet. Here we go. This is what you should do. Obviously, put out your name, your friend's name or your family's name, the gift ideas, what you might want to get them. So again, I've got first column budget spending. Well, I'm going to spend $100 on that person. Then the second column is the actual spending. And then what the third column you want to put is, if you're over or under. That way you're going to keep track. It's like a business. If you spend too much money, a company, and you take in less, what's going to happen? You're going to go bankrupt. Well, guess what? With people, it can be the same thing. If you spend too much money, you're going to have problems. And we see it so many times at the help center where people overspend, they don't pay their credit cards on time, and it messes up their credit. So let's not get into that situation. Be careful. This list is really, really good. We actually email them out to our email list, and surprisingly, we get a lot of people that thank us, and they use this list throughout the season. Here's some tips. Don't be afraid to make changes to your budget. A good budget is always evolving. So, again, you found something that is 120 versus the 100. Make the change and then adjust for the other gifts. It happens. I get it. Sometimes people don't take into consideration tax and shipping. Well, again, if there's shipping involved, that's part of your $100. So make sure that you budget that, and the total price of this product, the item, will be $100. Hang on to a copy of your gift budget after the holidays are over. It's helpful in planning next year's budget. It's actually a great suggestion. I actually kind of learned it from my mother-in-law, who used to have 4th of July parties, and she would always write down how many sodas or beer or whatever quantity of food was eaten, because next year she knew exactly what to do, cut back, add, whatever it might be. So keep a list. It's really, keep your list from the previous year. And then finally, use that holiday spending worksheet to establish an overall holiday budget. Really, really important, as we mentioned. And get together and celebrate. That's, what's really important. Is it really gifts? Not really. It's about family and spending time together. Call friends. You should reach out to some people that you haven't talked to in a while. Look, that's what Facebook is for. If we didn't have Facebook, we wouldn't know what half these people that we grew up with are doing now. So it's a great way to reach out, and, again, that doesn't cost anything. Now, I want to talk to you about how to save money for holidays. Really, really great things. What my kids like to do, make a gift. They're making gifts all the time. And you know what? That to me is more special than a store-bought gift. And if you go through I have a special drawer that I have all the cards and paintings and all that stuff they have done. What am I going to do with this stuff? I don't know. Maybe 20, 30 years from now, look at it. But it's too precious to throw away, so I just can't do it. Buy something on Groupon. Okay, why not? Listen, this is a world today where there's all kinds of discounts online, types of shopping where you can buy this stuff. Would I be offended if somebody gave me a Groupon for something and I can go use it? Absolutely not. It's just like a gift card. What's the difference? Gift card, Groupon, it's all the same thing. So there's no problem with it. And gift cards are actually very, very good item to give too if you're not quite sure, and the budget is, you want to spend $25 on this person. That's it. I've seen, having young kids, I've seen such a change in birthdays where when I was a kid, it was a present. You got a present. Now, as these kids get older, it's gift card, and gift card. So it's really changed a lot. So let's go to our first call. Hello, caller.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking my call. I wanted to ask you this. My boyfriend and I have been talking about getting married, and I've kind of been doing some ring shopping, and I just wanted to know in terms of what's reasonable for him to spend. What should I be looking at, or how much should I encourage him to spend on my ring?
There's two answers. Probably you would like him to spend as much as he can buy, buy this giant ring, but to keep it intact. I think the rule of thumb is that they say like 3 or 4 months worth of his salary. So again, that's a good guideline. Now it's interesting that you mentioned that. I just had a person call us at the help center that had financed the rings. So they actually had 2 jewelers on their credit report that they were making payments to. I don't have a problem with that if you're going to be persistent and make those payments on time. But listen, obviously, if his budget is $4,000 or $5,000, don't look at a $20,000 ring because he's probably going to want to buy that, and then if he can't or whatever, it's just going to make him feel bad. But just keep it in line with what you can afford.
Okay, thank you.
So much for the call. So yeah, that is actually an excellent gift. Question. And wedding rings, engagement rings. That's a huge purchase, as we people that are married know already. So again, just be careful. Shop it around as well. Diamonds are that. It's not like a iPhone 7 that are all the same. Every diamond is different. So you really want to go to somebody that's very reputable. There's certified diamonds that have paperwork, saying exactly what it is. Do your research ahead of time. Buy them from somebody that's reputable and see what kind of guarantee or warranty or return policy they have as well. It's really important. Let's go to our next call. Hello, caller.
Hi, I'm calling because I am planning a wedding next year is the idea. Do you have any suggestions or tips on how to budget for a wedding?
A wedding. Wow, that's real interesting too. First thing you should do is try to get your father to pay for it, because usually it's what they like to do if they can. If they can't, again, to be reasonable. Your money that you make, take your future husband's money that he makes, so let's just make it easy. You make $60,000 a year. Do some math. The rent is X amount. I'm spending X amount on food, restaurants, blah, blah, blah. See what you have extra. And you know what? Then set up a separate account. They used to call them like Christmas funds back in the day when I was a kid. At the bank was like, I remember seeing it, week 10, week 15, week 20. And deposit money every week into an account. And call that your wedding account, because everybody saves a lot of money fast. A lot of money saved is done a little at a time. I learned that years ago. I can't save $10,000 in one day. But if you break it down into X amount per week, eventually you're going to have that $10,000. So do it, baby steps, and then you will reach that goal. But again, the weddings, it's a one-night event. They're great, but be responsible. And I've seen, again, a lot of people just go overboard, and then they have credit card problems and debt, and then they can't pay them, and there's trouble. So, well, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you.
Today. So this is turning into a wedding planning show, I guess. I didn't realize I had that talent, but maybe I do. So let's go back to our how to save money. As we talked, make your own gifts. Nothing wrong with that. Buy something on one of these deal sites, a Groupon type thing. You're definitely getting a bargain there. Shop hard. Get one price and work another store. Okay, so you're probably saying, what does he mean by that? Well, these stores, a lot of them you can get a price and go over to Best Buy and I've done it. They will match the price or lower the price. I'm in the store at the same time and I'll Google it. And I'll find that computer or whatever I want to buy at another location, and you just show them the phone. Okay, we'll match that price, because you might not want to run to that other location to get that item. And then see, what? Hey, well, what's the difference? You can say to the guy, well, I'm going to pay you the same that I can get it from them. Can you do any better? A lot of times they will. So don't think a Best Buy is not negotiable, because let me tell you something. They are. They want your sale. So let's go to our next call. Hello, caller.
Yeah, talking about shopping for prices. So, like looking online, you get a lot of prices sometimes that are actually lower than a store. And then the caveat is that when you are checking out, they say, hey, do you want to save an extra 15, 20% by applying for our credit card? So, especially for these shops that you only go to once a year, is this something that you would advise to do?
We've discussed. That's an excellent question. We have discussed that before. If you're disciplined and you know you can pay that bill, and if your credit is good, yes. If and again, the purchase has to be enough. If it's a $50 purchase, to save 10% on that to open a credit card, I don't think is worth it. If you're going to buy a major something, $800, $1,000, $2,000, now 10% really does add into something. But again, you got to be very careful. We've discussed on the show before about my thoughts about retail credit cards. I'm not a big fan because I've seen too many people with 7, 8, 9 credit cards, and it turns into a disaster. They max them out. They can't pay them. They pay late. So again, if you do a deal where it is, a discount by applying for the credit card, if you say, okay, I know I'm going to pay this thing quick, then yes, it's fine. So just be careful what you buy and enjoy it. Thank you so much for the call. So let's go back. I was actually going to touch base on that subject as well, because many of you who watched the show before know my thoughts about retail credit cards. And I was just at a store today that sells shampoos and stuff. And guess what? When they were ringing me up, I'm qualified for their credit card. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with this card? What do I want points for this, department store that sells beauty supplies? No, thank you. If your credit is good and you can get those type of rewards cards, there's so many better ones out there. And what you want to do is get one or two, rack up everything on that one card where you can get free airplane tickets or all kinds of other stuff. But to have a department, like a card for a beauty shop place, no thank you. Didn't really interest me. So again, we talked about how to negotiate with these department stores and electronic stores mainly. How about cooking a meal for friends and family? So how nice is that? You're going to get, an invitation that, come over. We're going to have a little dinner party. That, I got to be honest, is probably more fun than a gift, a shirt or a sweater sometimes. So that's something, too, that can be a gift. I mean, you can cook a meal. You can do a joint thing where, okay, you bring the salad out, you bring this and that, and kind of have a whole thing together. So, again, it doesn't have to actually be something that, a material item where you're got to buy something and give it to. There's so many other options, and people really, really enjoy them. As our last caller was talking about credit cards, which credit card should you use? So, again, know ahead of time which card you're going to use. As we mentioned before, if you have the points card, know what your balance is. If your credit limit's $5,000 and you owe $4,800, well, that's not the card to use. Obviously, I don't like credit balances that high. You want to keep them, again, under 30% of the credit limit because that's going to start affecting the credit score. So let's keep those balances down. But let's just say your cards, okay, your balances are in check. You pay your bills all the time. So which credit card are you going to use? Again, the one that you're going to get the most value out of. Points. So I use a card and I get points for air travel. And having a family of 4, it can be very expensive. And I use these points to buy airplane tickets. So it's really a nice feature. And if you're going to rack up, dollars and stuff, okay, that's the way to do it. Get some value out of it. So try to get points, we just talked about. And then the 10% off, yes or no. So if you just tuned in, we were talking about a caller asked us if they can get 10% off or 15 at the checkout. It all depends. How much are you buying? If it's something that's a little bit expensive, a TV or a computer or something like that, okay, if it's an Apple computer, it can be well over $1,000. So then 10% off, but I don't think they do it on Apples. But anyways, you can get $100 off on something. Then it's okay. But know that you have to pay that whenever, 30, 60 days later. and pay it on time and don't muck up your credit. Okay, so let's go to our next call. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. So I was actually wondering if, well, I'm trying to get a credit card for the holidays, for Christmas shopping. But I was wondering, would that even help me with my scores? Like if I get like retail credit cards?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you have any credit cards now? Or no, how's your credit?
Uh, well, I do have a couple medicals and previous credit cards, but I haven't paid them because I couldn't. But right now, I want to try to apply for one. So that's why I was wondering if that even helped me with my scores in the future.
Well, unfortunately, the problem is your credit score is probably low. So what you need to do first is clean up your credit. And we've talked about credit repair. That's an excellent program that you should get involved with. Give us a call at the Help Center. We'll be more than happy to review your report and point you in the right directions and tell you exactly what you need to do. But right now, the problem is when you have negative information on your credit report, nobody's going to give you credit. The only way that you're going to establish some credit right now, especially for the holidays, you don't want to be doing it because you don't have time, is a secured credit card. And that's where you're going to put money in a bank. Say you put $500 into a bank, and they'll give you the Visa or MasterCard. But obviously, you're looking to buy gifts. So at this moment, I'd say take cash and buy those gifts. Don't try to apply for credit. But after the holiday season, your New Year's resolution should be, let's work on my credit. The doctor bills and stuff like that, depending on what they are, sometimes you can negotiate with them as well. But you're not, unfortunately, don't apply for credit if you have credit issues to begin with, because now you're going to put inquiries on your report, and that's going to lower your score even more. But give us a call at the Help Center, and we'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction, 773-862-4000. And have a great holiday. Thank you so much for the call. So, again, it's a catch-22. You want credit, but you got bad credit. What do? Credit repair. We've talked about it. There's companies in Chicago that do a really, really good job. I always say Google Credit Repair Chicago. See who's got the best reviews. Call them. Go to their office. Make sure they're legit. Make sure they're licensed. There are some companies in Chicago that can help you out. Find out what their fees are. Look on their websites. There's, again, the internet, you can do so many things. But you got to get your credit clean and straightened out and rebuild it. I always say you got to crawl, walk, and run. Clean your credit, establish some new credit, and then, time is going to get you those good, nice credit scores. If you try to rush it, it's not going to work. Give us a call at the center. We'll point you in the right direction. So we only have a couple more minutes, so if you do want to get a quick call in, try us right now, 312-738-1060. Let's go back to our slides. So with my ending thoughts on our holiday spending, stay in control. Don't be an emotional buyer. Oh my gosh, I got to have that. Look at that thing. It's so great. That giant teddy bear. Who's seen that thing? I see it at one of the box stores. And actually somebody posted online. Somebody bought it for somebody. This thing is like 8 feet tall. It's cute and this and that, but what the heck do you do with that thing? So stay in control. Don't buy stupid stuff, okay? You don't want to start 2017 in debt. That's why we talked about that holiday budget, the budget plan. Fill that out. Figure out what you're doing. Do not overspend. And I think your New Year's resolution is going to be work on that credit report. It's so, so important, as we just discussed with that last caller. So I do want to thank everybody for watching this show. We will be back next week. If you did not get on right now, I know we had some calls that didn't get on. There's our number right there, 773-862-4000. You can call right now. Leave a voicemail if you want. We'll get back to you. And we will see you next week. Have a great night, great weekend. Stay warm. It is freezing out there. See you next week. Thanks.